So there's been some recent news that's come out, and a video has surfaced, and we as a team decided that it's really important that we share this information with everybody, because we've been really focusing on building a community, and we've talked to Mark Cuban and D'Angelo Ball and so many amazing artists on Nifty Gateway, and Christian on Super Rare, and so many people. And it's been it's this video is it's tough. And as you get to know so many people, my family, who've supported this project, and the team, Mike and Pio and Rob and John, and all the guests that we've brought on, and just getting to know Joff and Talv and CNIG 69, and letting down Sass and Danny, and most importantly Nevin, who's been a big example in this space. And watching Noe, I don't know how he's going to respond to this when he sees the video, but it's just been it's shocking. I can't believe it happened. I wish it didn't happen. But Michael Scott says that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And you'll see in this video that clearly I had taken far too many shots. And we needed to get ahead of this before too many people see this. And because it represents myself, and it represents Nifty culture as a brand, and the comments that we make, and all the people that have been passionate about NFTs and apes and all the projects. It's just a really, really embarrassing that we have to confront this. But the best thing that we can do as a team is just confront it and share it and be ahead of it. And so I think the video will just do a better job speaking for itself, but I want everyone to know that we will do better in the future.
I like that goat. I like that goat. But you don't even know what it looks like yet.
It looks awesome.
Well, you know what?
If you don't buy a Yeti, you're kicked off the stream, bro.
They've published 2D models of them so far. That's the thing, is they're like saying, and that's where this project, like Daniel said it best, it has 4 red flags and 5 green flags. Like, it's got some good parts and some sketchy parts. Like,
all
it would be
parts.
nice if they had. Well, I'm
all good parts.
I'm the straight shooter
on Yetis. I'm bigger on Yetis than I am on apes. And I don't make calls. I'm bigger on Yetis than I am on apes. I'm bigger on Yetis than I am on apes.
You are one funny motherfucker.
Oh no!
The evidence.
You found it. Oh, I can't believe it. That was a heck of a setup, Malachi. I can't believe that setup. That was awesome.
So I was on vacation, and we had been traveling, and we were at the JW in San Antonio with the kids, and then the next day we're at the beach, and like I had been like, we'd been at the beach, I'd been like running back to the condo to delist my Yetis like in the middle of the day. We're seeing them spike. And so I'd had probably, I don't know, way more tequila than I should have. And I shouldn't have been on stream with all y'all. And then, someone came on stream and was like, yeah, you said Yetis are going to be bigger than apes. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, that's crazy. You don't know.
That's never happened.
I'm being accusational. I'm like, Pio, take it off.
Yeah, and, you were really, really mad. You were super mad.
I was like, I would never do that. And then some sleuths went back. And, after about 8 tequilas and 6 beers, I was talking about Yetis being bigger.
So would you say, like, what's hotter, this or like a rare ape? Like, which one would you rather own?
What's funny is, like, I went back and looked at the average price of an ape on June 11th, and Mike is like trying. We didn't play the whole thing because to get boring, but like Mike is just like trying to shut me up. He's like, shut up, and you can tell I'm slurring. But it's just the average price of the ape was like 2.1, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like the apes had been doubling in value. The Yetis had been doubling in value, and I'm, I don't know. I just wanted to be excited about something because I paper handed my cat to Monster Cat. Like I don't know what I was thinking, and so yeah, I get accused by a lot of people of paper handing a lot of stuff, but that was the biggest miss I've ever had.
Well, that was a very fun intro to our valued audience. You guys just got a chance to witness our first bit as a group here. So I'm glad that went as well as we thought it would. Good job, Malachi. That was very funny. And everyone will know that you were more bullish on Yetis than apes, and that Yetis are your favorite project in the NFT space, both aesthetically and for the technical fundamentals. This is Nifty Culture. I'm Pio. I'm here with my partners, Mal, Mike, and John. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, man. What's up?
Happy Friday, Pio.
Happy Friday. And today we are joined by a new guest on camera, but an old guest in terms of our Discord, a friend of the Nifty Culture group, Mr. Paper D, also known as Jeff. What's going on, Jeff? You're muted, buddy.
Not going to make it.
Not gonna make it.
We lost you, dude. How did this happen? We'll let him get his audio squared away. Just keep blabbing, man. And once we hear you, we'll stop talking. So we want to talk a little bit. This was a pretty damn eventful week. It was a great week for Nifty Culture. We put out a ton of great content, and the week is not done yet. We have a lot of great stuff coming out actually tomorrow. So tune in for that, including an interview with Micah Johnson, recently auctioned by Christie's. It looks like Jeff's going to quit and rejoin, so we'll look out for him. So we want to talk about a little bit of the art market.
Wait, Pio. Let me jump in here because I know you're doing your bit tomorrow, but I'm here because I wanted your opinion on this artist that I just discovered about an hour ago, which you told me he told me you already had the first and second volume, and I saw it and I'm like, this is a story. I'm going all in on this. So I went to Nifty Gateway and I couldn't maneuver around. I didn't realize it. And you said you already have the first and second volume, and he's dropping the third now.
Yeah, exactly. And so first of all, Micah Johnson, if you happen to be watching this stream, which I promise you're not, John is the only guy that doesn't know who you are, that is a part of Nifty Culture staff. Everyone else
not
is
going to
well
make
aware.
it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I bought your chapter 2 at drop. I bought your chapter 1 in the first week, and I put out videos about your work already on my old YouTube channel. So, we know who you are, dude. It's going to be a good interview. But anyway, John, Micah Johnson is a badass artist. He was a professional baseball player. He played over 60 games in the MLB, and then he made the transition to art. He started doing physical paintings, and he had a couple of shows in LA, a couple exhibitions in LA, and then he got into NFTs. Started with that dope physical sculpture that sold for like $200,000 or whatever that you sent me of the character Aku. That character is the core character of the series. Chapter 1 is Genesis.001, which is super sick, which I'm assuming you saw. Chapter 2, Aku's on the train. He just had his work auctioned by major auction house Christie's this month. Chapter 3 comes out on Sunday. So he's on an absolute tear.
So Pio, when you're doing the interview tomorrow, can you navigate the Nifty Gateway website and show off the first and second piece? Because I still can't navigate that damn site. It's impossible. I hate it.
All right, so John, thanks so much.
Nifty Gateway are fantastic friends of the show. Shout out to Trey and Andrea.
What are you doing, John?
I will say that they are working on their user interface. And here's an example of someone who clearly is a part owner of Nifty Culture who knows shit about NFTs, and he's all in on Ave. Got you.
Hey, let me jump in on the Nifty Gateway defense real fast. Let me just jump in.
It's hard to navigate.
Here's the thing about Nifty Gateway. Okay, there's front end and then there's back end stuff, right?
Yeah.
The back end stuff is like if there's a mistake, you lose money, you lose your art, you lose your Nifty or whatever. Your money gets hung up for months. One thing I noticed about Nifty Gateway is they prioritize back-end work over front-end interface stuff. So I think on the one hand, it kind of sucks because there's like a little bit of a learned ability to use that website. Like sometimes, you have like getting to like see what bids people have done. It's kind of like a secret place you have to go underneath your like profile area. And sometimes in order to get to features, you have to navigate special routes to get to them. It's definitely not the most user-friendly interface, but definitely I think if I had to choose between them prioritizing like speed of mints and making sure that when you withdraw money and withdraw tokens, they don't get hung up. Like I would always put it on the back end side. And I think they're just really practical people from my experience looking at them. They just happen to prioritize the back end. Now, are they big enough so where they should be able to prioritize both? Maybe. I guess that's a debate that could be had. But I do want to say like a lot of their innovation is on the it's on the technical side where you don't see it. And so those are harder innovations to appreciate. But I do think like it's not, a lot of people are like, a common thing you hear is like, how does this website look the same as it did back in February? Yeah, it looks the same, but it functions way different. The actual mechanics of it are way different. So I think definitely
it's still not great.
UI definitely could be improved.
Thank you. Yeah, why are you roasting me about it, man? It's very difficult to navigate.
Well, fair enough. We're roasting you because we didn't know that we were going to start the stream first with a good bit, and then with John lighting relationships on fire, Danny style. I didn't know that that's what we were signing up for, John.
Oh, come on, man. It's constructive criticism. They're like the premier spot to drop shit, but then it's hard for like newcomers like me. Like I don't use the platform that much, but I come on and I'm trying to find Micah Johnson. I'm like, well, let me go back and look at the very first drop. I found the second one. That was easy to do, but the first one, this one was tough for me to find. So
fair enough. But
yeah, it's fair criticism.
Jeff, what's up? Is your audio back?
Oh my God, Jeff!
Malachi's like, please, Jeff, come back. Shut this guy John up.
Yeah, and John's like, he's not back yet. So back to shitting on the artist that we're gonna interview. So Jeff, dude, go to settings on Restream. We have to do this right now, and just make sure your input is whatever. It looks like you're on your phone, so input should be the internal microphone, right? Do you see that audio input? We can't.
He literally works for DreamWorks and literally plays in 3D programs all day. Sorry, Jeff.
Okay. Well, anyway, big artist interview tomorrow. Micah Johnson going to be so sick, and there's a major overhaul I heard that's going to happen with Nifty Gateway's website in the next however many like weeks or months. So that's going to be super sick, and all of this stuff will get laid to rest. And we really love Nifty Gateway and all the artists that have been on there that have been nice enough to come on our show, and we will continue to have them. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, what an intro, huh? It took me 13 minutes.
So what's going on, bro?
Seems good. Nice to meet you guys in person. This is my first time doing one of these, starting off great.
So you pay very close attention when you can to the NFT market. You seem to be pretty knowledgeable when it comes to projects appreciating and being able to flip to increase your stack or flip to get better NFTs. What are your thoughts on what happened this week?
It was a pretty exciting week for the most part. I mean, I think the Vogu drop was interesting. My strategy originally was to mint, obviously, like everybody else. Early in that day, I was talking to some people, and they were like, "You should try minting straight from the contract." And I was like, "Oh, how do you do that?" And so I learned early in the day how to kind of do that. And then I got like a little gun shy at the last minute, and I was like, "I'm not going to mess this drop up." And I decided to try to mint from the site. When that went, they canceled the contract and stopped it. I decided to go right to OpenSea and see if there were people kind of paper handing things. And so I started just picking them up there right away and got some like under 0.3.
Nice.
So I ended up picking up 5 before the reveal, just because I'm a big fan of that art style. I think it was really, really impressive before, just with the samples that they showed. And then it was actually the first reveal where I've been more impressed after the reveal than before. I think they did just such a good job. And it's also I think really maybe the most impressive floor I've seen for a project. It's like you look at the floor and you're like, huh, I'm surprised this stuff is on the floor. It's just it's all really, really cool stuff, and you know, I think it'll be exciting to kind of see where they go. I know they were doing a screenshot for an airdrop already this morning, so I think they've got some exciting things planned for it.
I agree with you. I took a very close look at this project. It's one of the projects that I took the closest look at because I did like the art style, but I ultimately did decide to stay away. Only reason being is I am looking for a profile picture, and it's just a big deal for me to switch my profile picture at this point since it's been so long. So at the last second, I didn't choose it. My favorite traits in the Vogu were either the windbreakers. So they have 90s windbreakers. That's not this. This is the track jacket, which definitely isn't bad. I like how simple it is. I'm going to pull up some windbreakers after. But my number one favorite, trait is the Basquiat style graffiti on the face of the Vogus. And apparently the market decided that it was one of their favorite traits too, because I had the opportunity to snipe a few at 0.3 or 0.4, but I was gun shy. And now it's looking like the floor on that is 0.64, with some of the more desirable ones being much more expensive. Like this one's 0.9 right here. The other graffiti, the other Basquiat style is this one right here. But I wouldn't buy this one because I think the jacket's too busy. What were you going to say, Malachi?
Yeah, the issue with like this is where like the rarity traits don't, and this is an intentional feature, not a bug now, where like the rarity, so it's like they all fall under the graffiti, but there's also different types of graffiti. And so like even though it's graffiti, you have to actually go in and find out which type of graffiti it is. So like you could even like a rarer type of graffiti that's hard for rarity sniper, rarity tools to pick up. And so that's why you're seeing the people that get it are seeing them just spike out of affordable price ranges.
Yeah, what I usually like to do with a project that I really like is like, you know, buy 3 or 4, or in this case I bought 6, and flip one of them to kind of recover costs right away. But like with this project, I've seriously been looking at these ones and I'm like, I don't want to sell that one. I don't want to sell that one. So I haven't sold any of them yet. I'm just going to hold them for a while and see what happens, and just kind of, I'm impressed. Like there's so many things I like about each one of them, but I might trade somebody because I really like the record on the back of the head, and I want to try to get one of those.
What trade is that? I want to pull that up. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, I think the way that you can really tell that this is going to be a successful project is me, P.O., and Malachi all didn't buy into it for various reasons. And so that basically guarantees that's the trifecta, the inverse nifty culture.
I think Pio and I were talking to Tom Billy at the time, which meant we were spending a lot of our attention.
It was just a bad drop time for me.
And Tom straight out told you he's so bullish on this project.
I know. Yeah. He said he loves it. He's like, the art speaks to me in ways that I can't even describe. He's so right.
Yeah. So the fact that none of us are in it is a guarantee.
I just used that new tool that kind of shows you like how you're doing on your portfolio. You can connect your MetaMask and see like return on investment. And, you know, I was watching your stream back at that. I saw that episode live and I was like, these guys know what they're talking about. They're really bullish on Yetis. So I'm getting some Yetis. I got 3 Yetis. No. Thank you very much.
You probably made money on them too if you didn't hold them too long.
No. I was gonna. I waited till after the reveal, unfortunately. So I sold 2 of them at a negative 91% ROI, and then on the third one, I gave it to somebody that bought a Yeti because I just felt bad for him. It was like, here's your bonus Yeti. I just put it in their wallet. So
you made them feel worse.
They were kind of cursing my wallet.
Yeah, when Danny gets mad at us, he just sends us Yeti, so we have to clean out our wallet.
Now I did see on Twitter that there's a theory that like our kids will like really think Yetis are the coolest thing in 20 years, and they'll be worth a ton. So
no way.
Maybe hang on to those Yetis.
That's a real wishful theory. Like there's stuff that's way cuter than Yetis that would be
100%
a great project.
It'll just be the ironic one to have.
We have Practice and Apply Constantine asking a question. He said, what are your thoughts on artists sweeping the floor this week? He's specifically talking about Trevor Jones and Bill Elis. He also followed up and said, seemed like it helped to gain a little momentum for Nifty Gateway. So what we saw was, Trevor Jones, and he's actually done this before, and it actually prompted the initial bull run of the Bitcoin Angel, which is, if you look at the global history, if you do know how to navigate the site, John, if you look at the global history here, Trevor Jones just came through and ape bought, I don't even know how many of these things, basically, and this is coming off of the day that he sold like almost $1 million worth of stuff on the secondary market. So he definitely had some royalty checks coming in. And so it looks like 4 pages worth, everything from $1,000 up to $1,700 or so, $1,600 or so. He just came through and sold, and now and bought, I should say. And now 2 people have sold their angels on the secondary market for north of $1,700, thus making the floor around $1,600, which it hasn't been for a while. What are your guys' thoughts on that action? Do you think that that's a good thing, a bad thing, or neutral?
I think it's a great thing. I mean, I'm getting the feeling of FOMO right now as you're describing and talking about it. I'm thinking about going to buy one. So for me, it's a great thing.
You're never going to buy an NFT.
I think this is great for the people in the communities of the respective artists. I think for Trevor Jones, it's a little bit less earth-shattering because this is kind of a thing that he's kind of made something that he does frequently. So it wasn't really much of a surprise from my perspective. From Trevor's case, this is kind of Trevor being Trevor, and he always tries to support his community. So I don't want to minimize what he did there. It's awesome that he tries to support his community. That's really great practice. For Bill Elis, it was a little bit of a new thing. So like one of the it's more of an argument than a conversation. But in the past, me and Malachi have had arguments over Bill Elis because we both love his work. Where we kind of fall differently is I'm more or less concerned about the number of editions outstanding, and Malachi has always been a little bit more concerned about the editions outstanding because he's a little bit of a smaller artist, and he definitely was way oversold in the February-March bull run. So I think for Bill Elis, I think it can be a much more impactful for him to sweep the floor because his problem was he kind of oversold himself early. He makes amazing art, but you don't want to kind of dilute a concept. And so I think him kind of making this step, showing he's doesn't want to encourage dilution of his own brand. I think it's kind of an interesting turning point for him. And so I could see this as being a potential inflection point for his holders, like hopefully going forward. And, he had the artifacts thing, which didn't go over super awesomely for him, I think.
None of the artifacts did well, though. That's not his fault.
It's definitely not his fault. His art was amazing in that release. So it kind of just was maybe a little bit of a stumble from a perspective of why do we need so many more additional marketplaces?
I think it was timing for Bill Elis. Like honestly, I had 2 of his pieces. I wish I didn't paper hand one, but I bought into the negative. I didn't paper hand it. I still sold it for triple what I bought it for, and I had held it for 90 days. But I had bought into some of the negativity, and that's the thing about this space is there's the cultural people just start getting down on something. One of the things that's really important for me to talk about is Bill Elis didn't give up. He didn't take his ball and go home, right? Greg Mike didn't take his, and I'm talking about both, and they did one that is one of the not awesome NFTs. But Greg Mike could have left and quit. He had so much negativity in general. He had so much negativity around him. No, he went to Miami with Thank You X and painted a mural, stuck around. They're doing some awesome stuff. They're working really hard. Bill Elis could have said F these guys. I'm creating Diablo 2 remastered art. I'm successful in my own right, but Bill Elis stuck around, and he dealt with the haters. And I had some concern. Long term, I think supply is really low right now for what we're going to have. But my biggest concern, and it's not Bill Ellis's fault, is that he literally launched his project at the top. It was he was launching them for, I think, like $2,000 or near $2,000. He had 8 of them. There were 100 each. Like, it was just a big drop, and the demand wasn't there to support it on the way down because everyone was getting crushed left and right. And so the timing was my biggest concern. Like, I think his art is incredible, and my wife still yells at me for not paper handing, but selling one of those pieces because that one collection was like incredible. Like, not the You Challenged Me, but the one before it where it was like the Greek heads. Like, that's some of the best art. Like, my 2 favorite NFTs to this day are one of those pieces, and still Forever Mamba. Like, those are my 2 favorite NFTs to this day.
Yeah, I think that it's good when the artists do this, as long as they don't then give the art away. Because I think some people are like, yeah, I'm going to do it for giveaways, but then you give it away and that person just sells it for whatever they can sell it for. You know, like when you give someone something for free randomly, unless they're genuinely a fan of yours, like it's one thing if you go to your Discord where it's like basically your fan club and you give it away to someone in there. Okay, cool. But if you just do some Twitter giveaway where people have to like retweet the tweet or something like that, when they get that, they're just going to undercut the floor to sell the thing right away. And I don't really see how that's like a net positive, you know? So either burn them or hold them if you're going to do that.
Is Trevor burning his?
Oh,
No. Trevor Jones, the ones that he's sweeping the floor with, he's not burning?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think like one of the best things like smaller artists are starting to do to like build up collectors is the gamification stuff where they're saying, you know, you need to hold this piece, and then you're going to get this special piece that only people that have, you know, like Ghosts, Sunman and David are doing a lot of like gamification like that. Blob Mob, you know, they did the stuff with the spray paint cans, which was pretty innovative. There's a lot of cool ideas to really keep people incentivized to hold. And yeah, I think that seems like the future for kind of how to play it for artists. When I first started in the space, like in January, February, I minted some stuff just to figure out like what it was all about. And then by the time like March came around, I ended up burning it all because I realized it wasn't just about, you know, putting art out there. There's like more to learn in the space. I think you have to kind of come at it with a unique approach. So I needed to do kind of like a do-over, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit back, learn a bunch of stuff, you know, wait 6-10 months, and then, you know, come out with stuff that at some point, you know.
Nice.
So what's your read, real quick? You are, and I already spoiled it, but you're very involved with a lot of very talented people in the space. And so does everyone, like, you watch Corridor Crew and like all of them know, they had people on, they all know about NFTs, and you look at all of these other 3D animation, all of these, does everyone in the community now know about NFTs, or are they just trying to figure
Not
it out?
at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Like it's so young that like I've literally this week started emailing artists that I'm just big fans of and be like, listen, you need to get into NFTs. I will show you how. I don't want anything for it. I just want you to get into this so I can collect from you. And, you know, let's go. Just write me back. And I'm also really interested, like part of my job, and my wife and I work together. We're both the creative directors for DreamWorks. And so like what we do a lot of times is kind of find artists, you know, character designers for foreground stuff and background artists, and then kind of bring stuff together to find new styles and try to be innovative like that. And I'm trying to do the same thing in the NFT space because I think collaborations are really how artists are going to get discovered. And, you know, bringing people over from Instagram and just artists that I've worked with before, and just telling them like, guys, this is the time to get in here. Like you're not going to want to be freelancing for, you know, different things. This is just build your own community, find your fan base, play to your fan base. And it's more fun and rewarding for artists. And it's just such a instantaneous thing, you know. It's super, it's just going to explode in the next 6 months. So I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna real quick ask. So like when you're looking at nifties that you might be collecting. Like I look at them, I'm not really an artist at all, so I'm purely just using my own subjective opinion, which sometimes I might think something that's total garbage art is cool just because it looks cool to me. Do you feel like your background professionally impacts your decisions, or do you try
A million
not to let
percent.
it? Okay.
A million percent. Yeah, it's like part of our job is finding the artist, and when I started, I was thinking of it from a mindset of like, okay, what are people in the space looking for? And I was trying to find that stuff. And then once I made the switch to like, okay, wait, I'm going to step back. I'm going to just find like good art that I really love and that I would really want to invest in myself, instead of being like, oh yeah, I think I can make money off of this. That has paid off way better than anything else. The other recommendation I can make is people to start with small investments and try to get in early. Like, it's kind of common sense, but trying to, if you look in my wallet, it's like a lot of purchases that are like 0.002 and like little things that like might be an artist's first sale or something like that. But it's like, if you like it and it's cheap, it's like, why not? Don't spend more than you can afford to lose. But it's just, there's a lot of little bets that you can make that might pay off big time. And that seems to be working out so far. And I think it's also like not being upset with holding stuff, because like holding the Yetis, for example, was really upsetting me.
Yeah. Don't be worried about bags in this market.
Yeah, the floating eyebrows were the final straw when I zoomed in when they said the higher res. It's like, oh god. Okay, sorry, floating the Yetis.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have a big Yeti fan on the stream, so it's like okay for you to talk about Yetis.
Number one supporter.
So you've done well though flipping. You talk about getting into projects early, buying things for 0.002 and all that. How do you find out about these projects? Like, you're in our Discord a lot, and a lot of news breaks in our Discord, but not every bit of news breaks there. So are you just in a bunch of different Discords? Are you glued to your computer, your phone? What's going on there?
Well, I'm at my computer anyways for working, So what I decided to do a few weeks ago was I was like, okay, well, OpenSea has this, activity stream going constantly, and you can just leave it up. So I have a second monitor above my Cintiq that just I leave the activity stream going, and it tells you so much. Like, I've learned so much from it. You can learn about, just like by seeing stuff, you see a project that just catches your eye, you can just click on it, check it out, and there's just a lot you can tell volume really well from that, which is really nice. So like, if a project's starting to run, you can be like, okay, well, I can go buy the floor of this, and that's my opportunity to flip it. I think the key to the flipping side, if you're going to do that, is to absolutely buy the floor, and then don't be greedy about it, and stay away from round numbers. So like, if you buy something for 0.002, don't put it at 0.1, put it at 0.9, at 0.0999, like, because otherwise you run into those walls of, whole numbers.
Yeah, meaning you want to undercut the next guy a little bit, like a tiny bit.
Like, yeah. Just like, like why things are 99 cents instead of $1. It's used that same logic.
It's funny. We were sharing war stories one day. Like, we both had the activity feed up, and I think we FOMO'd each other into a couple different projects where we're just, because you can see the momentum where it's like trickle one, and then okay, there's like two together, and then all of a sudden there's like start to see a wall. So like, it's like a stock ticker. You start seeing this momentum go, and like we're like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about? And we didn't make big wins, but I think we made some small gains.
Yeah, no, you pay for the stuff, and then you hang on to some other stuff, because who knows what's going to happen with it. It's not bad holding bags when you don't have any investment. Your initial investment's taken out. It's, then you just kind of wait and see what happens. And there might be a random time. And I also judge things off of, like, in the morning, I look at my email and see how many OpenSea offers I get. And those are projects I definitely don't sell, like the wrapped ETH offers. It's like, oh, okay, that project's still alive. Like I've gotten some bonsai ones this week. It's like, hey, maybe Danny's right. Those bonsais aren't dead.
Bonsai one.
I don't know.
That's just Danny sweeping the floor.
Yeah, right.
He puts the offers out. He's got a bonsai bot.
8,888. Huh?
Yeah, that's definitely though like a sign of a project being desirable is getting those offer emails. Like I noticed, like with my ape and with my my dog, like I'm getting way too many emails. It's highly annoying. I almost am wanting to turn it off because of all the offers. And even with Bulls on the Block, I get a lot of offers. Whereas with something like the Buzz Bears thing I got into, which is kind of a cool project because it's basically trying to make the whole project a DAO. So I think it's like a bit of maybe a cool project to watch, but like I literally get 0 offers on that and never gotten an offer. There's like no offer that's ever shown up on my bear. So it's kind of like basically a sign that the arbitrage people are just basically not interested in even considering that project. So that's an interesting kind of way to consider whether projects have life to them. I have recently started, I did get, there's a World of Women project that dropped kind of slow, which I think is a really cool project from the people that do it. So I'm going to just plug them a little bit. There's a few of their people that hang out in our Discord, which is cool. But I think I like the artwork on it and I like the project and the people seem super genuine who are making it, but it hasn't really caught on because it's kind of a, it's almost a more art focused project than a like pizzazz focused project. That's probably what's holding them back a little bit. But I've noticed they've kind of started to get a little bit more interest as far as the offers go. So hopefully that one,
Yeah.
I feel like that one deserves more notice than it gets, especially compared, and I don't know who's watching, and there's nothing wrong with Fame Lady Squad, but I personally like the World of Women art a little bit more. And I feel like that one's a little bit more genuine, but like Fame Lady Squad got tons and tons and tons of interest and tons of pumping and everything. World of Women kind of, in my opinion, a slightly better pretty much better project, but it wasn't marketed well, I think, and so it's kind of languished quite a bit. But hopefully,
Yeah,
people start to appreciate.
Gary V was the one that pumped that night and kind of sold it out. He did his mint post that had mixed reactions too. But yeah, I picked up one of each of those.
World of Women was actually done by NFT Goddesses, friends of the show.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that they were involved with it. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, another strategy like for people to consider is really like something I've used is looking in people's wallets, like going to artists especially and see what artists are buying, because like I went into the Ghosts wallet and I found all sorts of treasures in there, and I went and bought tons of stuff. Like I was like, oh, that's an awesome project, I'm going to buy that. And it was all this, just stuff that like you can't go into Twitter, like all, it's all just hidden stuff. It's like hidden gems. Also, there's a YouTuber on the crypto side, Tony from Journey Crypto. Like I went into his wallet and you guys were pumping top dogs for a long time. And I was like, no,
we weren't pumping. They were just accessible.
Yeah.
I love top dogs. Paul and Abby, awesome.
Yeah, no, they are. They seem like the sweetest people, and super smart. But I hadn't bought one. I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy one. And then I looked in the Journey Crypto wallet, and I was like, all right, I'm buying some top dogs.
Top dogs are going to be bigger than.
Bigger than
Yetis, project, but I'm not saying anything's going to be bigger than Yetis.
Bigger than Yetis.
Bigger than.
Oh god.
They'll say.
No, but like when I looked in his wallet, he had 110 apes, and I was like, all right, the guy knows how to find like good stuff. So it's
While we're on tactics real quick, like the final tactic I want to say is, and we alluded to it, is like you can look at the OpenSea offers that you have on your email. But if you think there's a project, like what you can also do is go look at that mid-tier pricing of projects that you're not sure about. And if they have offers for, that means there's likely some support. And so if you want to see if a project is dead or not, go above the floor and start seeing if people are starting to get into that mid with some of that wrapped ETH. And you'll be able to tell, like at the top, there's always going to be offers. At the bottom, it could be dead or not. But if you get, 10, 20% above that floor and you're seeing that that means that they're also getting emails every morning. And so it's something to think about if you're looking at additional value in a project that you may or may not know about. So I just wanted to throw that out there because these are some fantastic tips to understand like how to find value in some projects you like.
Hey, Malachi, while we're talking about OpenSea and like some tips, have you pulled the most recent numbers as far as like unique wallets, investing and stuff? Any updates on any of that stuff?
I haven't, but in this thing that I'm not allowed to talk about called Underground with the guy that I think the most at the beginning who still has a few NFTs for sale. It has nothing to do with us, but they dropped some alpha. They actually here. Can I share my screen? If y'all don't mind, I'll just
do it.
We'll do it live. What's really interesting is one of the Dune Analytics charts right here. This is just for OpenSea, but you can actually see that like in July alone, and we're not done with July yet, 284 million in purchases, which is insane when you think about that volume. 149. So like if you assume that tomorrow's going to be decent and you look at some of those daily volumes, those spikes, you can see some firmness. Some of the stuff that we've been doing behind the scenes is really going back and trying to triangulate what drops actually matter within like a 2 or 3 day period, right? So can we tell when the apes start popping because they took a couple days to take off? Can we tell how the gutter cats played a role? But so Mike, like the individual wallets, we're still doing some research on. I'm going to need your help on that. I do have that API that we're trying to pull, but the most important thing to understand is like, what is the distribution, right? So like, there's this other one, and I'll try and find it because this Dune Analytics it's insane to look at the distribution of apes in terms of like if you compare like 1%ers in America versus like the 5%ers, 10%ers, bottom half, like there's some really similar distributions individually between all of the projects. But if you were to combine those projects and the owners of all of those projects are the same people, we're going to have some major problems in the near future, unless they're buying knowing that, a year or two from now, there's going to be 50 million people buying NFTs. So we're trying to cut through the data as quickly as possible. I was talking to Trevor Jones about this separately, where he was sharing some of the data that he had gotten from Dune Analytics. So hopefully we can make as much of this data accessible to everybody for as free as possible. But I encourage everyone who knows SQL or anything else to go look at Dune Analytics. It's a great tool.
Yeah, definitely. Let's plug them real fast. Dune Analytics, it seems to be free. I don't know who's paying for it, but
it's so they do have if you're using others, it's free, but like to actually have a license, it's like $300 a month. So it's definitely for teams.
Okay, so people should go check that out and definitely take a look. And if you build a dashboard that you think is really cool, try to try to get into our Discord and share that with us, because we love looking at this data to see where the market's going, and people will come up with great ideas for dashboards. So go in there, build something cool, and share it back, and let us know.
That was one other thing that had me pretty bullish on Vogu is in their Discord. I mean, on that last day, it went from 5,000 members to 9,000 members in a day. And it was filled with people saying, I've been in NFTs for 2 days, 4 days, and I thought that was really interesting that it was like actually a project that people were, exactly. Every day is a week, and every week is a year. So yeah, it's crazy that was this week. So
no, that's interesting though. Yeah, like looking at some of the, 9,000 is in a Discord is pretty big in this market. So especially unless you're like Stoner Cats, where you're pulling people in from the outside. But if you're pulling people in from just the Nifty space, it's relatively small. One of the things somebody put out this week was something like 15K wallets, like unique wallets between like apes and punks and gutter cats or something. I forget what the projects were, but it's like there's something like 10 to 15,000 active wallets in the space. So it's, if you just assume probably naively that it's one wallet per person, that's barely any people. So if someone is pulling in from millions of Twitter followers or whatever, they're going to have a completely fresh set of people. So when one of these projects is like a pure nifty project like Vogue was, and it pulls in 9,000 people, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was also my when I saw that, I was like, I might not mint this anymore because that's why I went to OpenSea. I was like, that demand, like, everybody there wants one, obviously. So it, with 7,777, not everybody's getting one. So everyone's trying to mint, that it's going to be a problem to begin with. Look at those.
Yeah,
beauties.
it's crazy, like the gas wars and stuff that happen with stoner cats. And what's interesting is I was reading about EIP 1559 that's going to be released in around August 4th. So the new version of Ethereum, it's going to completely change the gas metrics. Like, so it's no longer going to be GUI and gas limit. It's going to be base, tip, and max. And I'm not exactly sure how those play in yet. I'm still trying to research it, and we'll probably try to share out. Me and John probably should try to share out like exactly how that works around the 4th when the upgrade happens. But all these people who are making all these, like, everybody now is trying to use advanced mode on MetaMask to set gas.
Everybody learned the trick real fast.
They learned the trick, and it's going to be
you don't need a website anymore. Everyone's going to crank their gas to 12,000 now.
Yeah, but 2 weeks from now it's going to be completely, or 1 week from now it's going to be completely different. So like next Friday, even, you're not even. So all these people who think that they have gas figured out are all going to have be thrown for a loop come drops that happen after the 4th. So that'll
It's
be
a flaw in Ethereum.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so look at this article that we just pulled up. Why Bored Ape avatars are taking over Twitter. When I see this, all that this tells me is I'm never gonna have a damn ape, because this is gonna send them through the roof, and they're already friggin' 5.5 ETH floor, and today's like a cool down day. What do you guys make of this? Yeah,
I
just
love
breaking
it.
into the mainstream.
I love it. I'm an ape, proud ape. I've got 5 apes still. I haven't sold any yet.
Damn, man.
You have 5?
Yeah. I bought the highest one I bought was at 2. But the other ones were like 0.6 and kind of in between there.
I was telling all of the Nifty Culture fam, when I saw the ape, I was like, y'all all need to buy apes. And it was like 0.2. And I'm like, everyone go buy an ape right now. And then now you're in it. I mean,
this is why I can forgive you for Yetis.
No, my philosophy is apparently, like, I see something. As soon as I saw apes, I was like, art is cool. Then what do? I don't buy it. But then I eventually was able to flip a gutter cat. So I drew a pretty high-end gutter cat. So I was able to sell it for 2.5 ETH. And then I bought an ape when floor was around 2.5. So I kind of luck, and that was right before the Kennel Club was announced. So I kind of got lucky and was able to get into apes right before that. But yeah, Malachi was definitely telling us, he was right at 0.2. He's like, everybody buy this, and we were all stupid and didn't listen. It's like 0.2, that's super expensive. And now it's like 8 ETH or whatever.
Well, the thing that I'm so bullish about apes is, like, they're a team that's still working. Like, I think CryptoPunks are super cool. I love alt punks. I'm really into alt punks. But I think what punks, they're just they're Bitcoin. So they're like the store of value. They're going to kind of rise with the floor sort of thing. But there's no new like utility coming to them besides maybe other airdrops like Meebits. But it's not like, you can't, they have like a weird kind of licensing thing with their things. Like with the apes, you own your ape, you can make a business out of your ape. There's the ape follow ape thing. It's such a powerful brand. I see it being like supreme by the end of the year. And yeah, I'm just going to keep holding. I think that team's just working so hard and nonstop to do new surprising things. They did an airdrop this week that kind of went under the radar with if you owned any of the Kennel Club they sent you like this utility-based AR basketball that you could, mint, or you could buy a Bored Apes basketball, like an actual physical one that is going to ship in December. And they said that, holding that basketball is going to be the key to utility down the road for other partnerships. So it's like they're just finding new innovative ways to keep building that brand. And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. I definitely see like a 20 ETH floor in a year from now for apes.
Yeah, and I talk about this a lot when it comes to these ETH BTC debates that we have on the channel on occasion. Like CryptoPunks and apes are like a perfect analogy for BTC and ETH. Like right now, everybody kind of sees CryptoPunks as a store of value. So people will be, it's first mover, just like BTC. And people are like, oh, I'm going to flip and flip and flip. And this is what both Danny and Sass did, is they flipped and flipped and flipped and then put their profits into a CryptoPunk. But where the difference is, and why I totally agree with you that apes are going to be the long-term value play, not financial advice, do your own research. But where I completely agree with you on this is like there's community and there is development team, and those both have very high, they're like very powerful moats or walls around those communities that make them very hard to replicate. And Ethereum has the best dev team in the cryptocurrency community. Bored Apes has the best dev team in the Nifty community. And also they both look at the communities themselves. Ethereum has the strongest community. Bored Apes has the strongest community. Those two pieces interplaying are going to be what's going to create the value. And it's what's creating the value for apes and what's going to create the value for Ethereum, versus the first mover advantage, which basically they're almost like CryptoPunks and BTC are both kind of in this situation where everybody just knows what it is. And so nobody wants to change it or do anything different with it. And so they're both kind of very hard to change and very stable. It doesn't mean that I would never argue that there's going to be a world where they both can't exist. I think they both kind of fulfill different mindsets. Like some people have brains that are just more comfortable with kind of evolving and changing into new things. And some people kind of like to be more static and like they know what they love and they want to stick with what they love. So I think there's room for both in the end. But I think where all the value is going to get created is, Ethereum is going to be the place that's all the other crypto people are going to try to model and try to copycat. And Bored Apes are going to be the place that all the other Nifty projects are going to try to model and try to copycat. And so to me, that's what makes the value of both of those two things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Real quick, sorry, I want to say one thing. Like, I don't think that like and I don't know the tech, so I'm just talking out of my butt. But like the apes haven't done like these brilliant like technical things. I mean, my view on the apes is that they just had really, really great art and they really, really great timing. I'm a huge fan of the apes, and the airdrops have been good. I think that there was enough time in between the two spots that it makes a lot of sense. But like we were talking about this on the Spaces earlier today, like when the Boring Banana Company put their stuff on GitHub, like now everyone has a decent repo to go pump out any project they want. Like today we literally saw two projects launch at the exact same time by the exact same devs with different, one was Cool Cat's derivative, one was an Apes derivative. If you go to their website, it's the exact same website except for the art, even the background, and even the names of the devs are exactly the same. And so like someone needs to mute because like there's like a lot of like mouse moving or something going on. And like when you think about like the fact that now we can just distribute and go and create these projects on the fly. Like we can go download a GitHub repo and launch a product and be so furious at it that we're going to launch two simultaneously at the exact same time to try and take wealth out of this. Like people need to be incredibly careful with every single future NFT project. Like I think, Mike wrote a great article about the anonymous nature of some of these projects. but we also need to, we also need to hold these projects, whether they're anonymous or not, very accountable, because we are in the Wild West now, where it is incredibly easy to launch a 10,000 avatar project in probably a couple hours if you really wanted to try.
I have a question. How many confirmed businesses do we have launched from Bored Apes? We have Jenkins the Valet. Did I see some kind of coffee brand or some sort of
Bored Apes coffee? There's Bored Apes wine as of today. There's just springing up every day.
Val wants to do Bored Apes or Dead Ape sushi restaurant.
It's awesome.
And he's going to do it. He's 100% going to do it. When I look at this one, for example, right, I see the striped shirt. I see like the goatee, or excuse me, the stubble. I look at this and I'm like, well, first of all, it's got an orange background, so you can join the extremely passionate Orange DAO, which is like one of the funniest Discords to go into. I don't even think it's that big, but it's like you just go in there and they just hit you with so many orange memes. It's so funny. And then also, like, this guy I lived in Williamsburg in New York for 3 years. This guy just looks like he's hanging out in a coffee shop in Williamsburg 100%. So it sounds like they already did coffee, but I'd love to do like, Orange Ape Coffee Company, or I don't know what the hell, but there's so many businesses that you can do. And I'm just interested to see what new ones pop up.
Yeah, I think it's just going to keep growing. I think that's one of the powers of it. It's basically, they could have said, hey, we own the IP. These are just, JPEGs that you guys can use as picture profiles. But they took the opposite approach, which was super innovative, and said, hey, you guys own this. Go build our brand for us and make it huge. So it's something that's going to just be exponentially bigger and bigger as more. I mean, we're almost at 5,000 holders. I don't know if we've hit it. It's probably like any day now, but it's just going to keep growing.
That's crazy. That is insane.
Yeah, for 10,000,
almost
a
50%. That's so nuts.
Yeah.
So Cobville here off Twitch asked, isn't it the case, and can we mute if we're not talking? Isn't it the case when apes keep launching more art, they undervalue the original collection? I feel that's where CryptoPunks are better in that way. I mean, I'll give a brief response and then I'll table it to you guys. With CryptoPunks have the value that they have because of the OG factor. That's 100% it. I also do genuinely think the art is very cool, and I've showed it to people like my mom that are like way more, fans of the traditional art world and not focused on digital art, and she also really likes CryptoPunks artwork. So there's no question that the artwork's good, but the most appeal for CryptoPunks comes from the OG factor. While Bored Ape is launching derivatives, it's not like they're increasing the supply of apes. So I would think launch all these derivatives. Who gives a shit? The original apes are what provide the most value to the person that holds it. And then, if you're going to hold these derivatives, you are just going to get free shit that you can sell for something. You're getting something, whether it's even $100, but it's something,
I got killer dogs from them. I minted like 2 amazing dogs that are just, one would probably go at least for 20 ETH. It's one of the coolest looking ones in the bunch. It's radioactive with blue beams, so it's like a free gift, and then they're providing utility with keeping an ape and a dog in the next kind of round. So there's going to be another run up on apes for sure. And the mutating thing, nobody knows what it actually means, but based on what the team has done so far, it's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think a great example of how it doesn't dilute is the example of the Nest graphics piece, where Nest made the really, 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 really sweet piece of art which included something like 60 or 100 apes. So I think like no one is going to buy an ape, like Pio said, no one's going to buy an ape instead of that Nest graphics. What it does is it anchors the apes by virtue of having like new tendrils coming off of it, and each like a new person. It's kind of like I guess this is more like a crypto example, although there's been a bunch of people who've bought apes who are kind of prominent people, like Des Bryant bought an ape, but Jay-Z buys a CryptoPunk and it makes CryptoPunks go up because he's expanding the visibility of that project out into the marketplace Same way for these derivative projects, they're basically expanding the visibility out, and they're increasing the size of the market. And since they don't replace apes directly, it basically, I don't think, dilutes. I think where you get into a dilution situation is like when the original artist goes and creates a new piece that's equal to or better than earlier pieces, and the earlier pieces don't necessarily have any historical value. Like an example would be when Beeple did his spring drop, he created a bunch of new 1 of 100 pieces, and a lot of the previous open series values went down because of those new 1 of 100s. But the cornerstone pieces of Beeple did not get impacted by that new release. So think of kind of Bored Apes as the cornerstone pieces of the Bored Ape ecosystem. All the derivative works are additional content that are going to pull more people in. The original cornerstone pieces will all retain, and because more people are coming into the ecosystem, increase in value. That's my personal thing.
Yeah.
Very well said, Mike. If anybody's sleeping on Mike's opinions, just listen to this show and listen to when Mike is opinionated on something, because you're sleeping. You're sleeping, and Mike's always dropping knowledge bombs, especially on the technical side, but also on the market side. I want to call out one thing in the chat here, which is, what are your thoughts on which NFT would represent Cardano and which would represent Polkadot? I'm going to defer to John on this one. John, what are you thinking, bro?
Well, based on my in-depth research of the technical stack of each of those projects, I'd have to say that Polkadot is like pickles and Cardano is like Yetis. That's what I'd say.
No.
All right, so Mal's
I'm
Cardano
a Cardano
head.
fan too.
Mal's got a ton of Cardano.
They can be the cool cats. Come on, give them cool cats.
I mean, Cool Cats is pretty good. Yeah.
I know.
No,
Cardano is too.
We're dumping on it. All right. Well, we've been going a solid hour. Any closing thoughts? Anything else we want to cover before we drop? I got another stream in an hour, so I got to rest a little bit. But anyone got anything else?
Hey, thanks, Jeff,
All
for
right.
joining us. That's all I got.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much for having me. I'm glad to be here. It was a pleasure.
Jeff, one last thing. What's the
Yeah.
best trade you've ever done in NFTs? What's the best trade, like starting price, finishing price, and what was the project?
Oh, I don't think I've made it yet. I'm holding. I'm gonna wait for wait a bit, and
Do you have any CryptoPunks?
I don't.
The floor just
I
passed 24 ETH.
I know, like in my head, it's like I could literally take wrapped ETH offers and buy a CryptoPunk, but I kind of think the utility is gonna win out in the end. I'm not hating on CryptoPunks. I think they're awesome, but like knowing that there's 10,000 CryptoPunks and what a floor CryptoPunk, you just have to ride the floor with it. Having 5 apes, it gives me more liquidity if I need it, and I just feel like they're just building such a great brand that in my circumstance, I feel like I'm making the right call. We'll see in a while if that's true.
Is the ape what appreciated the most, like on paper?
No. I mean, I think I bought a Sunman and David. They're the guys that created Ugly Dolls, and they've been getting into NFTs, and they're doing a drop tonight, which I'm gonna miss, unfortunately. But they've been doing these profile pic things. They're super charming and just delightful. But I bought one for 0.03 and sold it the same day for an ETH. So that's a pretty good return.
I'd say so. Jesus, I gotta find one.
I got
of those.
6 of them at the same time. So, well, now everybody's on to my my honey holes, and they're. I'm like gas wars on the Sunman and David stuff are just a nightmare now. He's moved them over to Polygon for some of them because they've gotten so bad so quickly because people saw these returns on these things. And
same with art blocks, right?
Yeah. I haven't gotten into art blocks yet. I think some of them are super cool. Some of them I don't get necessarily, but that octopus one was amazing.
Yeah. Do you have any V friends coming from an artist background? I was curious if that's because that's like you go apes, CryptoPunks. A lot of people also get into the V friends. I was just curious if you had any of those.
I like Gary V a lot. there were two things holding me back from V. Well, three things holding me back from VeeFriends. One was the art. Sorry, Gary. I was like, I can't. I get why he did it, but I couldn't get behind it. I know that he wanted to be authentic, and I respect that, but it has to live in my wallet too. And then gas was that day was terrible. It was like super high that day. And then I knew I probably couldn't go to VCon anyways with, everything as busy as I am and COVID and everything else. So I was like, it would definitely just be a play to flip. I think the people that got in are super smart and they're lucky, and I would keep holding them. He's definitely working hard to do a lot for his supporters.
Well, yeah. Well, shout out to Gary V buying an ape CryptoPunk today, and then someone tried to outdo him. And it looks like about 20 minutes ago, someone bought another ape punk with a necklace for 2,200 or 2,250 ETH. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, $5.4 million. USD, 5.4. Which is
no arguing with
bonkers.
that.
and Gary tweeted, "This better not be Michael Jordan or Tom Brady that bought that." So I guess we're gonna find out.
If you've looked at Gary's wallet, man, that there's a lot of CryptoPunks in there. Only 5 apes though. Only 5 apes.
I mean, that is insane. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for coming on, man. I think this was a great stream. Everybody, hope you enjoyed Mal's comedy bit. Make sure that you ping him and you tell him that you liked it and everything. John, thanks for almost severing several relationships at the beginning of the show. And Mike, thanks for all the knowledge bombs that you dropped. Everyone, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.
Thanks.